Good evening, everyone. It's Anthony here, alive after 5. Just a really quick recap on what we talked about last night. First of all, if you're watching this and you're live with me, in a couple of seconds, people will start popping on. I appreciate that. And if you're watching as a replay, I appreciate that too. Last night's video, I got a lot of feedback from it, messages and people that thought some good things about it. So we talked about last night was, well, very simple. The things you don't want in life. What don't you want in life? So that's what we were talking about. Today I want to go a little bit into what you do want in life and some exercises that are very, very simple that I believe you can learn and master to get you where you want to be. Hey, Cousin Rocky, how are you? So when we talk about looking back from the future, looking forward to the future and then looking backward as your best year would have been, what I have here is I jotted down a couple of things that I'm going to put my glasses on. Questions that you want to ask when you're looking back. These are very important questions. So let's go through these a little bit. How much money are you making? And these are things I want you to visualize as if they happened or already happened a year from now and you're looking back. You're in January 28th, 2020 and you're looking back this whole year, all of 2019. How much money do you have saved away for your family? Who are you taking care of financially? Who are you obligated to take care of? Where do you work every day? Do you have a home office? Are you outside? Are you taking your existing company, if you're in business for yourself, are you taking that up to the next level? I want you to visualize that if that's what you're doing. If you're starting a brand new company, of course, then look back from next year to the fact that it's grown so big in the last 12 months through 2019. Does your partner or spouse look at you in the morning or after a long day? How does she look to you? How does he look to you? What are the relationships with your children and with your family? What does your life look like when it's a year in the future and you're looking back on your best year? This is a tremendous exercise because you're basically taking your future and putting it right here in your present. I want you to get emotional about it. I want you to get excited about it. I want you to think really amazing thoughts. Hi, Cindy. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Daryl. What's going on? Those are the kind of questions that you want to ask. Think about that. And by getting emotional about it and getting engaged with the process, what will happen is your mind will start filtering out all the things that have been blocking you to this point to get to where you want to be a year from now. You'll start filtering out, maybe saying no to certain people. Maybe you'll get engaged in different areas of your life where right now you're not being very productive, and you can start being more productive by putting your mind ahead where it expects to be and visualizing it as if it's happening right now. You're going to be changing your brain's paradigm. Your brain is not going to know that you're thinking about a future event. It's going to accept the fact that you've gotten emotional about it and that you're hammering at it right now. And you're already thinking about the last year, and you're excited about it. So for it, it's reliving a memory, right? The reality is it's your reality. So get engaged. The restrictions that are holding you back are all here. We've said this many, many times. So if you know before you go, you'll create a filter which will basically stop all non-contributors to your cause, knowing before you go. All the obstacles will be moved out of the way because you'll already know what they're going to be. And if you're looking backwards in time, well, I mean, wouldn't you know? If you look back a year, literally from now till 2018 back, wouldn't you have figured out what you did wrong in 2018 and not done that again? So that's what you think. You're thinking only positive. I don't want you saying something like, well, I have a great business, but I might not have the time. See, by putting a negative spin on a future event, you're carrying with you anchors from today into the future. Eliminate those anchors. They don't exist in the future. All you have a year from now is a clear sail from today to that point. Perfectly clear, perfectly steady, perfectly accurately going the right way. So now here's some critical why questions that this is the process. I'm going to go through this real quick. Why do you want these things that you've said in that first exercise? All those questions that you asked, the financial questions, the spiritual questions, the relationship questions a year from now. Why do you want those things a year from now? Why are you getting emotional about them? What's exciting to you? You see, you can say, I want to have great abs. Is that enough To get to the gym? Probably not. I want to be financially independent. Then tomorrow you get a flat tire. You start thinking about that. I mean, I had a date today. We had to bring MJ's car in for a recall. We went in there. The place was like, a bizarre office, 2018 brand new Grand Cherokee needing some service, 2,500 miles on it, and we had to bring it in for a recall. So the day didn't start out fantastic when they couldn't give us a lender car, like a loaner. So we had to jackass back into Huntington and go back home, only to go back a few hours later to pick up the car. And then we grabbed some lunch and worked out. But the day was rolling really, really fast today. I had a lot going on. So I was on the phone back and forth the whole time. So I don't look at that. I don't look at the fact that I had some accounting software issues tonight that required me to upload some documentation and resubmit my IRS identification, PTIN numbers, and all this other stuff that held me back a couple of hours and prevented me from doing certain work tonight. I'm going to have to finish up tomorrow. Let me lower this slide. I'm going blind. So, hey, Phyllis, how are you? Tina, what's going on? So, if you know why you're doing something, you're going to get excited about it. If it's just, I can't wait to get my check, or I'm going to make $1,000 a week, that's not usually enough to get you out of the bed to go out to do it. Because the first thing that's going to hit you in the head while you're trying to get that $1,000 bill, you're going to stop. You're going to stop. And I can teach you how to sell $20 bills for $10, right? Easy to do, right? You sell a $20 bill for $10. Anybody could do that. But some of you will not be able to do that. Your fear of failure will block you. Your self-limiting, attributes, your self-limiting paradigms will stop you from even doing something as simple as trying to sell somebody a $20 bill for a $10 bill, right? It's unbelievable, but that's just a fact. That's just true. So why do you want these things? What's the reason behind the action? We need to go deeper into the process, as many as 7 layers deep. So that's the exercise that I'm going to show you in just a couple of minutes. After each of those answers, I want you to ask a question, why? You say you're looking back you're looking back from the future, and you say, I'm excited I made $100,000 this year, 2019. You're looking backwards, right? The first question you ask after that is, why do I want to make $100,000 a year? And you might say something like, I'd like my family to have more financial security. That $100,000 is fantastic and it's going to help. The next question would be, why do you want your family to have financial security? And so on and so on and so on until you get to the root cause. So it's going to go from here, where it's all mental, all brain talking, to the heart, where it's going to start to speak to you emotionally as to the real reason why that $100,000 a year is so important to you. And when you figure out the real reason, that's when it hits. That's when it becomes exciting. That's when it becomes emotional. And that's when there's not a damn thing that's going to get in your way to stop you from moving forward. That's a fact. But you have to know why. I do this practice a lot and it works. I do it out loud. Sometimes I do it, I just write it out. But we want to try to do a couple of things. So some of the questions, that you want to ask, you have to identify your why, right? Why are you doing anything? So, why do you want to take your income from where it is to the next level? Why do you want to start your own business? These are basic questions which are going to be related to those looking backwards thoughts, those looking backward emotional ideas that you just did a few minutes ago. Why do you want your company to evolve? Why do you want your parents or your spouse to retire? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to have more intimacy, more passion in your life? The why? By knowing why, that's going to be the starting point. So I'm going to end this. This is not going to be a long talk, but I want you to study this process. You can get a lot of this in Dean Graziosi's book, Millionaire Habits, Successful Millionaire Habits. If anyone wants the link, you can get the book for free online, which is shipping. It's like a $30 book. Fantastic book. It goes into some of the exercises behind this process. But I'm going to go right to Dean Graziosi's own comments at the end of this chapter that I was reading earlier. It's right here. Hold on, bookmark. He went 7 layers deep with one of his mentors. Now, he's worth a couple of $100 million, this kid. He's amazing, like 40-something years old. And he does this on a regular basis. He does this before he speaks, before audiences all over the world. He does this for any business venture that he goes into. He does it, and he learned this not that long ago. It's in the book. Let me just read a couple to you. One of the things he says, I want to write a book. So his mentor said, why did you write this book, Dean? And Dean wrote, To change 1,000,000 lives by helping them see a better path and better habits of success. That's pretty worthy, right? Well, then the mentor said, well, why do you want to change 1,000,000 lives? And we had to think a little bit. And right away he said, because it feels amazing to serve and help others. Isn't that great? Write a book, you're going to serve and help others. Now you dive down a second layer. Well, why does it feel amazing to help others? This is what his mentor asked him. I think it was Bob Crum. It allows for an even more successful business based on solid principles and values. So Dean's answering the question. Well, then the mentor said, well, why is it important for you to have a business based on principles and values? He's asking him a very basic question based on the answer that he just gave. And Dean had to start thinking now. I want to leave a legacy for my family to be proud of. So initially he started out with, I want to write a book to touch as many people as I can, to now we're 4 layers down, I want to leave a legacy for my family. Now we're getting into the heart of the matter. Then he asked him the next question. The fifth question was, why is it important for you to leave a legacy to your family? Can you start feeling emotional here? Put yourself in Dean's seat. They were outdoors in some home that he owned in Arizona. Get emotional, because he started getting emotional. I can feel it. Because when I start talking about the legacy for my family, for MJ and my kids, and people that I care about, I start getting emotional about it. That's why I work as hard as I do. I never want to go backwards, Dean said. I hated being broke as a kid. From, I need to write a book to help as many people as I can, to, I hated being broke as a kid, because that's his childhood. And the mentor asked, well, why do you never want to go backwards? And Dean said, I want my kids to have choices as they grow up. Now he's getting really emotional. The last question was, why is it important for your kids to have choices that you never had? His answer was really amazing. Because I want to be in control. I want to live life on my terms and be free as I choose. Now I want you to think about those questions and answers. He took a very basic auto response to, why do you want to have a business? And it ended up at the bottom of the thing, because I want to be able to make a decision. I want to decide where I live. I want to decide what schools my kids go to. I want my kids to have better clothes. I want my wife to have a nicer car, a safer car. One where the door hinge isn't, unlocked and it's dangerous. You start getting emotional about your why. I'm going to tell you something. You start getting emotional for the reasons you're doing something, your life is going to change overnight. Because if you're just doing things for money, pay some bills, whatever, that's just not going to fly. Because eventually, that's going to wear itself out, and whatever obstacle is going to get in your way, you're going to put whatever you had going on to the side. But when you know that you need to make a legacy for your kids or change the direction of their lives and your grandchildren's lives, that's when you start figuring out that maybe you need to change certain things. If there were 2 planks across 2 buildings, 50 stories in the air, and those planks were, the plank was maybe 3 or 4 or 5 feet wide, some of us, not all of us, some of us would be able to walk across that thing without any issue at all. Shrink that plank down to 18 inches, it becomes way more difficult to walk across that plank. If your goals are very difficult, very high end, then walking across an 18-inch plank 500 feet in the air might prove to be somewhat scary and difficult. You might turn back. You might not even proceed. But if I take your children and I put them on the other side and I put them in physical danger that you can see from your side, from the building that you're on, and you need to get across those planks, you have to go the 200 feet to the other side of it, across a chasm, 500 feet in the air, because your kids are in danger, there's a fire, there's a bad guy, something's going on. God darn it, there's not one of you that won't run across those things as if they're not even there. You'll be running on air, because you'll go and you'll leap and you'll take care of those kids. Can I see an amen? Can I hear an amen? Who would not do that? I want you to think about that, because everything that you have going on in life right now is geared toward one simple thing. I believe this strongly. It's to better the lives of your loved ones. Everything. So when you get emotional about the whys that you're thinking about, and you understand the whys that you're doing something, you'll get emotional about it. Very simple exercise. I want you to inbox me for a link to this book. It's like $8.95 for the post of the shipping, and If you don't have the money for even that, let me know, and I'll buy you the goddamn book, and I'll send it over to you for free. So let me know if you want that book. Try to get it. It's a fantastic book. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight. I'm going to go grab the lady for a little bit and relax before I go back to my work. And we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Hope you get something out of this. Have a great night. Thomas, how you doing? Hey, Paul, what's going on? Phyllis, again, Tina. Good night, guys. We'll see you all later.